All right, let's take a look at these. So, this is a really fun one. Let me start this over. So this is new. We just got this. This was just taken April 16th. So just this morning, actually. That's how new this one is. Of course, this is going to air on the 17th, but I'm recording on the 16th. This is over Arlington, Texas. And what is that? So we've got these blinking lights, kind of a square configuration, beaming this light down. What? That is a drone. And I learned this weekend from at MoveFund from some former law enforcement and others that, this is kind of a common thing these days that the law enforcement are flying around drones and they do have lights that can shine down like that. This is good to know because let's see if we can get a little more of that. But this is good to know because I was recently on a PBS special, PBS Nova, where they were looking at some of our Enigma cases. And on that show, we showed this one here, this weird one from July 3rd. This was actually Ellwood, Pennsylvania. And in this object, you see this object come into the screen, just this light. And then later on, it beams this very strong light down. This is from July 3rd. Let's see if I can get that beam part again. But it's beaming this light down. And I think this probably was a law enforcement drone now. I wasn't sure what it was before, but it probably was a law enforcement drone. And it would make sense that they're checking out fireworks on July 3rd. Who the heck is out there shooting off these fireworks? And then it slowly moves away later. So that was probably, so this is a unknown for me that is solved. Maybe some of you out there are like, duh, I always knew it was a drone. I wasn't sure. And you know what? That's fine. A lot of times I'll post some of these videos and people will be like, you idiot, that's a drone, or that's this, or that's that. And then I look at it and like, okay, it looks like you're right. It's okay. I think, we got to quit beating each other up for stuff like that. It's okay to post something that you don't know. The congressional definition for a UAP is something that is not immediately identifiable. And some of these are not immediately identifiable to me. Maybe they are to you. A lot of people agree with me when I show these videos and they're like, wow, that does look weird. But that's part of the learning process. So I think we need to make a space where we're not embarrassed. And I'm not going to be embarrassed to post something that I don't know what it is, because I know if someone does figure out what it is, then I'm going to be educated on that. Now I'm going to know going forward. And that's what's important. That's what analysis is. So that's that one. So here are a couple more from this year. And this is a really weird one to me. This was from January. And look at this. So this guy says he sees a blinking light. He zooms in. Probably a plane. I don't know that light's interesting. And then look at those two things shoot up in the air there together. Maybe birds, probably birds, but pretty weird video. It's pretty short, so here they'll come again. Here we go. Look at that. So they come together and shoot up in the air and boom, they go away. That's pretty weird. Do you think that's birds? Kind of strange if it is, but I guess it could be. I like that video. That's kind of strange. This is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on January 11th. But then a more recent one is this one. I really like this. This is from Jones, Oklahoma, April 8th. But this person got like 3 or 4 videos, and there are multiple objects like this. And you see this object come in, fade away, and that's what this one is. Come in, fade away. And they put another post out with a couple more videos that are similar, but with more objects doing this, fading in and fading out. So he said over the night, he saw several objects with doing this behavior. Now, if this was from an aircraft, I would say it was SpaceX, because SpaceX looks like this, pretty much exactly like that from an aircraft. It's a racetrack phenomena. I interviewed Ben Hansen, last year about these. He's a researcher who investigated these, and in their investigation, they figured out these were Starlink. But I don't know that they can manifest like that from the ground. So we'll have to get more people looking at that. But that's pretty weird, I think. Don't know what that one is. So I'll put the links to these, of course, in the bottom so you can check those out yourselves. But what the heck could that be? I don't know. Here's another video where the same type of thing's going on. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Even to kind of speculate, a bunch of drones, Chinese lanterns they fade and float up in a while, but you see them lit and going, they're lit the whole time, not fading in and out. So I don't know what that one is. Pretty weird. Some good videos. So we will review, and again, these are just unknown. There's no doubt. And just so you know, I expect when I post these videos, I expect that somebody somewhere is going to be able to figure out what they are. I do not expect that, all of these videos are aliens or that, these are proof of something anomalous going on. But I think that they're worth looking into because they could be. And I am not a scientist. I'm not a physicist. And so I, from experience, don't know which of these videos is really going to excite a scientist where they're going to look at that and say, you know what, I can analyze that and really figure something out with that one. And that's what's exciting, is to give them that sort of data to work with. And that's the whole point, is crowdsourcing data and then getting that analyzed. So I'll bring to you in the future when some of these are resolved, just like that drone one that we looked at a little earlier, that I think now is that the law enforcement drone. So we'll check those out. That is it for this week's show. Thank you all so much for joining me.